So we deduct interest income. There's interest from Beta Microfinance. No, Lex Bank first. Lex Bank is 180. Then there's bonus shares. Bonus shares is 120. Then there's interest income from Beta Microfinance. So interest income from Beta Microfinance, another 200. Then we deduct investment allowances for this lorry. So we have a lorry. The cost of the lorry from our income statement was 3.2, but they had not included the duty, so we add duty on that. The duty on the lorry so the cost is 3.2. The duty on the lorry according to note 7 is 1 part. And the rate of allowance is 25%. So we get that allowance. So that's 832.5. This should give us the adjusted profit of the branch and subsidiary and parent company. Then we can look for any other sources which can be included. Yes. Nasema? This is 1944.2. These are deductions. You're saying? Gain on share sold is? Or we didn't put? Or we did not put gain on share sold, eh? Tax. This gives us 1974. And additions? 81.5.21. We can get the adjusted profit. So get something like 12. 468.019. So we call this adjusted. So when you reach there, you can now add any other sources of income that are taxed. So the only source we're going to add here is interest from the banks. Interest from the banks will be taxed twice on a company. You must have mentioned that at some point. It's called non-qualifying interest. I think we mentioned it yesterday. Non-qualifying means withholding tax is not the final tax. So there are two interest incomes here from Lex Bank. interest income. So we add interest from Lex Bank. So interest from Lex Bank is 180. You also add interest from microfinance. It's called Beta Microfinance. That's 200. These things will give us the total taxable. So they've already told you it was gross, so we are okay. If it was net, is when you convert to gross. They've said it is already gross. You only not tax it if it was net. Wanasema, although it was received net of withholding tax, but it had been indicated as gross. It was received net because they paid. So the total income is 12. $12,848.019. So that is the total income. Yes. Yes, how are you? So that ends the first part of the question. Then there's a second part of the question, which says this: compute the tax payable or refundable for the year ended based on your results in part A. So the tax payable is corporation tax. So we compute corporation tax. So corporation tax. Corporation tax liability is 12,848,019. We get 30% of that. We give us corporation tax. 30% would be 40%. 3,054,405.7 less than the tax. Less withholding tax. Withholding tax kuna interest. Kuna interest from here at Lex Bank. They are paid withholding tax of 15%. So the rate, the exam will not give you. So you must remember the 15% withholding tax on interest. The 15% is 27,000. 7,000 after. That is really tricky. If there is better microfinance. This will give you corporation tax credit. So they had already paid the withholding tax, so you offset whatever amount they had already paid. The difference is tax there. So we can also look at the theory. There's a bit of theory on the question. So that was Roman 1. Then, sorry, B. B says, a tax agent is an important stakeholder in the alternative dispute resolution process, ADR. Analyze the role of a tax agent in relation to the ADR process. So just say role of a tax agent, role of a tax agent, role of a tax agent Role of a tax agent in alternative dispute resolution. Role of a tax agent in alternative dispute resolution. Role of a tax agent in alternative dispute resolution, in brackets ADR. ADR process. Role of a tax agent in alternative dispute resolution, in brackets ADR process. The first rule, you can use bullets. The first bullet, assisting the parties in initiating the ADR process, assisting the parties in initiating the ADR process, assisting the parties in initiating the ADR process, and provision of the necessary documents, and provision of the necessary documents, and provision of the necessary documents, and provision of the necessary documents. Next one, submitting the client's case. Submitting the client's case. Submitting the client's case during the ADR discussions. Submitting the client's case during the ADR discussions. Submitting the client's case during the ADR discussions. Next role, assisting the parties to identify. Assisting the parties to identify. Assisting the parties to identify the contentious and non-contentious issues. Assisting the parties to identify the contentious and non-contentious issues in any dispute, in any dispute, in any dispute. Then the next one, assisting the parties in the ADR discussions. Assisting the parties in the ADR discussions. Assisting the parties in the ADR discussions. To narrow down issues with a view to reaching, an expedited, with a view to reaching an expedited, with a view to reaching an expedited conclusion. With a view to reaching an expedited conclusion. With a view to reaching an expedited conclusion. Then finally, we have Roman 2, explain the circumstances under which the commissioner may cancel the license of a tax agent. Okay, explain the circumstances under which the commissioner may cancel the license of a tax agent. So Roman 2, revocation of the license. Revocation of the license of a tax agent. 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 The first point to say, where the tax agent has ceased, where the tax agent has ceased, where the tax agent has ceased, where the tax agent has ceased to carry on the business, where the tax agent assists to carry on the business as a tax agent, where the tax agent assists to carry on business, as a tax agent, Next bullet, where the tax agent prepares a tax return, where the tax agent prepares a tax return, that is false. Where the tax agent prepares a tax return, that is false in all the material respects. That is false in all the material respects. Next, if the tax agent has failed to satisfy the conditions, if the tax agent has failed to satisfy the conditions, for licensing, if the tax agent has failed to satisfy the conditions for licensing as a tax agent, Lastly, if the tax agent has notified the commissioner, if the tax agent has notified the commissioner of his unwillingness to act, as an agent, So that's it. Any question? So we can only write a subheading for the next class. This is where we will commence so that we don't lose track. So you can write this. This will be the last part of limited companies. So please write this. Avoidance of tax liability, through shortfall distribution. Avoidance of tax liability through shortfall distribution of dividends. So that's the last part of limited company. We'll be commencing in our next class before we look at the next topic, which is investment allowances. So any question? Then we will stop there.